Peace. Jamal Robinson, 720astrology.com. So astrology is a language. It's a fire language. It's a language of the stars. So whenever you're studying astrology, it's wise to study language at the same time. By language, I mean the origin of words. If you get any astrology book, they'll give you key words. And for me to learn, what I started doing was look up what those key words really mean. For example, we're going to look at today the concept in astrology of will versus fate. And I got it here. This is my little mini wheel. Now you notice over here I have the word will, W-I-L-L. Opposite that, I have fate. So where I have will represents the east side of the chart. The east is the ascending side. Ascend means to rise. The west is the descending side. It means to fall. Meaning the sun rises in the east. The sun sets in the west. So the will is what is rising from you. What are you putting out into the world? Fate is what is received. What are you receiving? Okay, it's the condition of your rise. Your fall is the condition of you rising. All right? Fall is the condition from a seasonal perspective. Fall is the natural effect of spring. If something springs forward, it's eventually got to fall. Okay? So you see this give and take aspect plays out on all levels of existence. So Aries, ruled by Mars, is the keynote of the east side of the chart, as in it sets the tone. It's the rising sign. Libra is the receptive side of the chart. It is the sun setting, falling. Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus is the keynote of the west side of the chart because Venus is relationship. Aries is I am, identity. So when we look at a chart, and this is just one layer that I'm describing of how to understand your birth chart. The birth chart is a series of layers. And that's why we have, when we're studying astrology, we have the word quadruplicities and we have triplicities. You know what plicities means? I guarantee everybody knows this. I'm gonna show you how. If you ever seen a Charmin commercial, we've got 2 ply. We've got 3 ply. Ply in your house somewhere behind the paint, you're gonna have likely some plywood. So what does ply mean? Ply means layer. Plicities is the plural of ply. So plicities means layers. Quadruplicities, 4 layers. Triplicities, 3 layers. So astrology is studied and is interpreted, and it speaks through a series of layers. So what I'm discussing here is just one layer of the chart. We're looking at the east versus the west, the wheel versus the fate. All right. So when you see planets on the east side of your chart, that means they are to the left of that center line. It's called the meridian. Okay? Anything to the left is will oriented. Okay? It's coming from me. It's about me in some regard. Okay? Anything to the right of the meridian is more fatalistic. Means it's about the effect of the cause. It's the results of an action or a series of actions. But like I said, when you're studying, one of my secrets for my studies, which is ongoing, is something like this. I'm gonna share one of my secrets. The origins of English words. This is my second copy of this book. The other one is all torn up, but I still use it. I don't even like using this one. I like my old. I got one that's torn up, cover torn off. I got my money's worth. But either way, you can take a book like this. This is called a discursive dictionary. It's an etymological dictionary. Etymology means fire, essence. What's the essence of the word? When we look up words and consider words, we're looking at a shell. To really understand what that word really means, you got to get to the fire that is deep within. And you got to consider its origin to get to that. So, with that said, will, associated with the east side of the chart, naturally fire because it's associated with the keynote of the east side, which is Mars, in the sign of Aries. Interestingly, the word will traces back to an Indo-European root called uelk. Uelk, U-E-L-K. And uelk, you hear that ua, which almost gives us the W sound. Ua, like what? Well, the word will through uelk means wet. Ain't that something? Will, which we coincide with fire, etymologically traces back to water because it means wet. Check this out. This is how it takes you down gets you into a deeper understanding of astrology. Well, the first sign is Aries, naturally associated with fire, cardinal fire energy, all right? Initiatory, but Aries is actually the result of Pisces. Pisces is the last sign in the zodiac, and Pisces is mutable water, changing water, undoing water. But that same water of Pisces can be associated with the amniotic fluid, not the amniotic, but I'm sorry, when the water breaks before the baby comes. It's a sign that it's time for birth. So in other words, The same sign that ends all things is the beginning of things. So the will comes out, the fire comes out of water. The masculine has to come out of a feminine. It all lines up with our reality. Okay, fate. The word fate comes from the root ba, B-H-A. And B-H-A means speak. So specifically when we look at the word fate, it means what is said or what has been spoken will be. So what we have going on here between the east and the west side is a cause and effect relationship. The east side is the cause, the west side is the effect. How you are as an individual affects how you end up in relationship. Say that again. How you are as an individual, and that's multifaceted, that's multi-layered. How do you see yourself? How are you seen? How do you imagine yourself to be? How do you naturally approach life? How do you interact with others? All of these are causes. They are causes, and they represent your sense of I am. All those things create a fate. Fate is what is said will be. Those causes create an effect. So, a lot of people, that's one of the main things people ask about with a reading is relationship. Trying to figure out relationship. When the actual thing to be looking at is the cause. Not saying that you're the cause of problems and it's really you. And I'm not trying, it's not about being judgmental. But to study any effect, you have to first study the cause, which is why this whole system, this science, this art of astrology is so beautiful and how it's set up. As an astrologer, I have to be an ambassador for this most arcane science, because people think so many things. It's just some silly fortune telling. It's just some entertainment. It's just something to talk about. No, this is the real deal, Jimmy. This thing, there is nothing deeper than astrology. Nothing deeper, because all sciences are contained within astrology. Geometry, algebra, law, politics, psychology, sociology, everything can be tied back to astrology. Because as long as man has walked the planet, he has pondered what time he is, what time he's in, and what cycle he is in. Because that governs everything else. Hope this has been helpful. Jamal Robinson, 720astrology.com. Peace.